I did not have sexual relations with that woman.
Yes or no? Did you ever take banned substances to enhance your cycling performance?
Yes.
I had no prior knowledge of the planned assault on Nancy Kerrigan.
I am deeply sorry for my irresponsible and selfish behavior I engaged in.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to Oops, the podcast. I am Giulio Gallerati, joined, as always, by the wonderful Francis Ellis. Francis, how you doing?
I'm here. I'm ready. Let's do it. I'm excited. Hi.
Good to see you, man. We're joined by a great guest today. You might have seen him on his Netflix special on Comedians of the World. He's also one of the main characters in the show Rami on Hulu. Please give it up for Dave Merheje, everybody.
Yeah. Did I fit in the screen? Yep.
Yeah, he's good. Raising the roof a little bit. How you doing, man?
Pretty good. How are you guys as a collective and separately?
Well, Giulio, you can answer for both of us.
I think individually we're both doing well. We're in good setups. We've been bouncing around. As a unit, I feel we're doing very well as well. Francis, I don't know if I'm speaking for both of us here, but
Yeah, I feel pretty good. Heading back to New York City tomorrow, which will be great. I have so much more weed there than I do here. I brought road weed, which is I don't think I packed enough. You know what I'm saying, Dave? You know what I'm saying?
I do. I've never heard the term road like that way, the way you said it, like road weed, which I think is amazing. Because it is road weed, but you never really, I don't think I've called it road weed. And I've been running it. I've had the weed and I'm like, shit, I don't have any more. This sucks.
Yeah.
and
Yeah,
just
it's walking around weed. Like I have friends who are really into cocaine, and they call cocaine trap, because one of their friends, his favorite thing to do would be like to tell people to come over to his apartment before a night out, and then they would come over and then they would just do cocaine until 5 a.m. and not go out, and he would trap them in his apartment with cocaine.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they call it like, we need a little walking around trap. That's what they would call it. We need a little little walking around trap. And so I only brought my walking around weed for this trip to my girlfriend's family. So I'm excited to have my drawer full of goodies and iterations.
love it, dude. Just like road weed is not quite as good.
Look, G, I'll tell you this though, man. I can't remember the last time I got roadhead, but I think to me it's all on the same level. It depends on the amount, the wait time. Like, do you
All
know what I
head
mean? Like,
matters.
you know, if I haven't had a head in 7 months, and if it's roadhead, it's still at a high level of normal head because I don't have anything to put it to.
Dave, here's why I disagree with you. Okay. Here's why I disagree. First of all, right? One of the most important parts of receiving oral sex for both genders, I would say, is being relaxed, right?
Yeah.
And you simply cannot relax while you're driving a car, right?
No.
Meaning, you've got to focus on keeping a steady weighted foot on the gas pedal. And I'm a twitcher when I'm really enjoying kind of, oral sex. And I just find that I get a little car sick based on how I drive. And then the second thing is, no matter what, she's fishing your penis out of your fly, right?
Yeah.
So
Probably.
it's not, I like, in the same way that I like to use a toilet with my pants completely off, I prefer that. I prefer to receive oral sex completely naked. And if you're fishing it out of a pair of blue jeans, you're not getting, the balls get no play whatsoever.
That's very
right?
true.
And I don't know, the whole thing for me, roadhead is have you guys seen the World According to Garp?
No.
It's a classic Robin Williams movie that was based on a very famous book by the guy who wrote A Prayer for Owen Meany, I think. But I can't remember what his name is. Famous American author. And there's this scene where his wife is cheating on him with one of her high school students, blowing the kid in a parked car in their driveway. And Robin Williams comes up behind, crashes the car into that car, and she bites his penis off. And I've always been so fearful that that would happen during Roadhead.
Dude, it's a fair concern.
Okay, look, I'm going to be honest with both of you. I haven't ever had Roadhead. I've had. I'll be honest with you.
Dave, this is the other thing. I'm speaking for Dave here because I know him very well. But Dave, I know that as Francis is saying, the best part of getting head is relaxing. I know that you don't relax in any scenario.
I was in a parking lot. We weren't moving, and she went down on me, and I was still panicky. And to the point when I came, I went like I gave an anxiety like, and she was so mad. She goes, I feel that's so hurtful. And I'm like, no, I do enjoy it, but it's just the surroundings. We're in a dark corner, like we're in a parking lot. I don't know if the neighbors, I just couldn't get comfortable. And that car wasn't even moving. We did everything we could do where nobody could see. And I was still full of panic and couldn't fully.
Dave, we are birds of a feather, my friend. Okay. Because let me tell you something. I apologize 100% of the time when I come in a girl's mouth. I apologize. And they get mad. They get mad. They're like, what are you talking about? Like, I'm doing this. Don't apologize. That's not sexy, you know? And I'm like, well, I'm taking inventory of everything I've eaten over the last 24 hours. And it is a witch's brew that is sure to contribute to some very bad flavors for that batch of sperm you just pelicaned down your throat.
Flaxseed semen.
Dude, the odds of me having eaten pineapple are so slim.
Right.
So slim. To the extent that on the rare occasions where I do eat pineapple, I'm like, I sure hope somebody blows me soon. To take advantage of this. Never happens.
Dude, I know that I don't like being told how my semen tastes, regardless of whether it's good or bad. It's really like I feel very vulnerable in that moment. I don't need to talk more about it, you know?
Yeah.
Like in the moment. I'm happy to talk about it now. This is great. But
yeah.
You know what I mean? Well, Dave, you just moved into a new apartment by yourself, right?
I did, yeah.
So this is like big boy moves. And, you know, Dave is a guy who's been in the game for many, many years. You know, you've experienced many kind of like waves of where were having big success and then where things were slower and then now I would argue you're having big success again. What does it feel like to have your first apartment by yourself?
I should have had a long time ago. I should have had an apartment by myself way, like, I'm not too old, but I mean, do you know what I mean? Like, I should have experienced this earlier, but I got two TVs, but not on purpose. The TV I had was so small that when I put it on the wall in the living room here, it just looked so tiny that I bought like another one. And now I have two TVs, and a friend was like, how do you not live alone for so long, and the first time you live by yourself you have two TVs? And now I just go in the other room because I feel like that TV doesn't get attention, so I'll just watch shit maybe that I don't want to watch just so that I could be like, I'm using this TV. And it's sad.
Yeah.
You know, that Japanese woman who wrote The Subtle Art of Tidying Up would tell you to get rid of the smaller TV.
Marie Kondo.
Yeah, Marie Kondo. It's not The Subtle Art. What is it?
I forget what it's called.
Glorious
Tidying
Art
Up or something.
Yeah.
I forget. Dave, that is like living alone shit. You're very excited about it. It's not necessarily that exciting of a thing, but I'm glad that this is a big milestone.
Yeah, none of it is exciting. It's just like you're alone, but then you're like, fuck, I'm alone. Like, you know what I mean? You're just like, man, there's a lot of time in the day when you're just by yourself. You're like, I'm going to watch like 15 hours of TV. I guess it's just that I just was around people for so long that you're just like sitting there on a couch, like, okay, like, anticipating people to talk. Do you know what I mean? Like being with roommates for so long.
Right.
Like, someone's going to show up and hang out. Like you just keep thinking that and you're like, nope, no one's showing up. It's just me.
Well, dude, all right. So I have a bunch of questions for you. Another thing, you're one of the only people that I know who's ever ridden the bus in Los Angeles.
I have multiple times. And
Dave,
on the subway.
Dave was riding the bus and the subway in Los Angeles. I don't know how many of you guys know about Los Angeles. I don't know a lot of people who do that. And I apologize if that's naive of me, but I've never really met many people who have bus stuff. And like, is it as stressful and sketchy as they say? Or is
Yeah.
it?
Yeah, there was once a girl, I remember on the platform talking to dudes, and I was terrified. Like I think she was just flirting with men, and I was like, not here. Not in the underground LA. So if this cycle comes near me, I'm jumping on the tracks. I don't give a what the fuck is she doing? Like, she was like so jolly, and she was like, "Hey guys," I'm like, "No, there's a man with an LA tattoo on his neck. There is no way. Like, we are all not talking. It's people like." There was one time, I think it was when I was gonna move. I was like, I'm done with this train or the subway. I had my headphones on and I just saw a guy screaming. Like I couldn't hear what he was saying. And I finally was like, fuck man, maybe I should take my my headphones off. And I took them off and the guy's looking at me, he goes, I'm gonna fucking kill you. I was like, whoop.
Shouldn't have taken those out.
I got up, dude, and I couldn't leave because it wasn't to stop yet. So I just stood near the door, just waiting. I was like, I'm gonna die going to fucking Union Station in LA. This is the saddest shit, or North Hollywood, one of the two sadder places.
It's very, dude, that's fucking stressful. Well, I just love that story because like, this is like 2 or 3 years ago. You're riding the fucking bus in LA, which is not an ideal situation. You know what I mean? Like, you would have preferred to have not been riding the bus in LA.
Yeah.
But I imagine, you were trying to do your thing and have longevity. But now, dude, you're like up for Emmy consideration, which is a wonderful tale of entertainment. You know what I mean? You stick around long enough. Dave now is a fucking world-class actor.
Yeah, I was taking a bus I was taking a bus to Santa Monica, dude, and this guy, I'm like, he's next to me, and I go, oh, that's shit. I smell shit. But I just didn't want to look. I go, I smell. That's I was just doing this. I was like, that's shit. That's an intense type of shit. And I look over, and this man just shit his pants. But we made eye contact, and when I did this, I go, fuck, I can't move. Like, I can't get up right away because he's gonna know. I know he shit himself, and I don't want any more beef from him. So I sat with him in the shit for 30 minutes.
Oh God,
dude, you're too nice, man. I mean, it's okay. Like, the guy shit himself. You have the right to kind of like move on there. Listen, buddy, no offense, but you shit your pants. Like,
yeah, not for nothing. Like, if I were to shit myself, I would want privacy. I would want people to get up and leave.
Dude, one time I sat next to someone who shit himself, and this is great. I step on the subway train and I sit down and I smell shit. So I'm looking at the right, and I'm kind of looking to see who it is. And I keep looking around, and then finally I see the guy to my left who is obviously the guy who had done it. But not only was it obvious he had done it, he was doing this to me, Dave. He was going, he's waving at me with his fingers. Like, I couldn't even be mad at the guy. I was like, dude, listen, like, your game is on point, man. You're still working it.
Bold flirtation strategy.
I love shit like that though, like the little like cute like
flirtatious wave from a man who had shit his pants. Fucking lovely moment. I don't know. Well, Dave,
I'm a fan of the show.
Sorry, Francis. Sorry, we lost you for a second.
Sorry.
Go ahead.
Dave, I want to ask you about the show. I'm a fan of the show. I love your character, and I think it's so cool, like such a great vibe and theme that runs through the show. Obviously, you have what's your background, if you don't mind me asking?
Oh, I was born in Canada. My parents were born in Lebanon, but all my siblings were born in Windsor, Canada, and I'm Lebanese Christian.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, that's cool. So Lebanon, like what part of Lebanon does your family come from?
Well, my mom left when they were young, so my mom and dad are from different parts of Lebanon, and my dad. It's weird because I was looking at my green card application forms, and my dad married my mom. My dad was 38, and my mom was 22.
Attaboy.
He married her, and so he came from Lebanon to Canada as an adult, basically, and then she got there when she was like a kid. So I don't think she spent as much time as my dad did in Lebanon. And I think he was told to leave. His sister left. And he was like, he won't tell me, but I think he was causing ruckus. And they were like, you got to get out of here.
He's causing trouble.
Amazing. Do you speak Arabic at all or French?
No, I do speak Arabic, but it's choppy. It's not as good. I used to know how to speak way better. Like when I was a kid, my parents taught me how to speak Arabic and sent me to school, like to kindergarten. I didn't know how to speak English. And then the teacher thought I was deaf and blind. And then from there, the school had to, because she would show me a picture of stuff and I would just answer in my culture. So it was like, let's say it was an apple and I'd be like, tefeha. And then she'd be like, what the fuck is this? Like you could, like,
This kid is mentally ill, dude. That's fucked up.
I would have done the same thing as the teacher. So my mom and dad kind of like taught me how to speak English from at home and at school. That's what, you know, my mom would buy me wrestling magazines and make me like I'd watch. That's why I started to love wrestling, which is super weird, I guess. And then as I got older, I lost the language a bit. I can understand everything though. If someone was speaking, I could fully understand it.
Interesting. I was always under the assumption that I happen to know a bunch of Lebanese people, and all of my Lebanese Christian friends, they like default to French, and like their dads know Arabic, but like they don't really, type of thing. And I've always thought that was interesting. So it's interesting to hear you say that you were like raised speaking Arabic. That's cool.
Well, dude, my dad has a French name, but does not speak French. He speaks Armenian.
Oh, word. Interesting.
So I was like, his name is Jean, and there's not 1 ounce of French in. Like he doesn't even bring it up, doesn't speak. I'm like, do you know how to speak French? And he goes, no. Okay, why do you have a French name? So crazy.
You are on the show with Mo Amer, right?
Yes.
And Mo is a super interesting guy. I was introduced to Mo when I saw him. I went to see Dave Chappelle when Dave Chappelle was like first getting back into stand-up after the show. And Mo opened for him. And this was at like Gramercy Theater or something. And Mo blew us away. Me and my friends, we'd never seen him before. And he had this great joke about performing for the troops and being like, surprise, motherfuckers, today's the day. Like he was going to blow them all up. And I never forgot it. And Mo has continued to work with Dave Chappelle all these years. But I think it's a phenomenal casting to have you guys all on the show with Rami, and it's so cool. I mean, how has your life changed, if at all, since you have been on the show?
I think also working too with Mo and Rami and Steve, especially if me and Mo are in a scene together, it's hard not to crack. Like there's been a couple of times where I'm
He's just too funny.
Yeah, I'm like, I'm gonna fucking crack here. And then luckily, like this season, there was a scene where we're in a hotel room and we're like, he's speaking Arabic, and during the filming, I'm like, if he doesn't, because he had this fur coat on, and he's like speaking he's like Allah shuga, and he has these goggles, what are they called? The virtual reality. So I couldn't take him seriously. I was just sitting in the bed and I was like, no, don't laugh. The whole time I was like, when they were like action, I go, don't laugh. He sounds fucking ridiculous. And it was just, but he's such a funny dude, man. Like and his energy is so contagious as well. Like when he's in a room, like you're like, it's and fun and it's always like a good time. But I think, I didn't even answer the question yet, but has it changed? Yeah, because you'll hear more people will message me and say that they're like fans, but it'll go deeper than that, like how it relates to them, how it helped, they have something now. Growing up, they didn't have anything to look at or inspire to, and then they have that, and they have this show now. I think that is, I've never really had it like that on any level, where people, not only fuck with the show, but they've connected to it in a way that I've no experience. I've never experienced before.
Very fucking cool, man. It's amazing how shows like take a season to really pick up steam. You know what I mean? Like that first season, it came out, people liked the show, it was good, whatever. Rami obviously gets a Golden Globe, but like a good show that gets picked up for season 2, people catch on in a big way during season 2. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and then Mahershala as well, adding Mahershala. You know,
So
you can't.
for those of you who don't know, Mahershala Ali is in season 2 of Rami. Rami told me that he had asked if he could be on the show. That's fucking insane. The like most coveted actor asking you if he can be on your show. Like, can you picture a hotter situation?
Dude, speaking of the hottest situation, Mahershala's voice is pornographic to me.
I know.
The way he speaks, and I think for me, honestly, weirdly, it was the most erotic when he was on House of Cards.
Oh,
I loved his character on House of Cards. Obviously in Moonlight he was spectacular and all this other stuff that he's done, but his kind of like Washington D.C. insider, political lobbyist, correspondent, whatever the hell he was in House of Cards, I thought his voice suited that role so well, and boy, that is a lovely voice.
Wait, it was I didn't watch
Makes me wet,
that.
dude.
Was his voice this? Did he change his voice? I didn't watch it, House of Cards, or was it like?
It was. I don't know. It was just. I remember being very struck by it. It's no different than the voice that he speaks with in. I don't think in. In Rami, or I actually haven't seen season 2, so I haven't seen his role yet. Or in Moonlight. But in Green Book, his voice was different. He obviously played like a very erudite character in Green Book.
Dude, his voice is like very captivating. Like I remember I was like hella nervous. I had like this like one scene, but like I was too panicky leading up to it. Like I had just too much anxiety. Like it wasn't like I didn't have that many lines, but I was so scared and I was so anxious that I get there. It's early in the morning. I'm in the trailer with my homie, and I'm pacing, and he's like, yo. He's like, you've memorized the lines. You just gotta chill. It was just chill, man. Sit down. And I'm just like pacing back and forth like a psychopath. I'm like, but it's him. And then I go, fuck it. I need to go outside. I'm gonna go get a sandwich or something. And I go outside, dude, and it's like this is in New York. There's like nobody out there. There's just trailers, and there's like nobody, bro. It's like 5:30 in the morning, and I see some guy from a distance walking over, and I go, no. In my head, I go, no, and it's him, and I've never met him, bro. And I'm like,
oh no,
fuck. Like, do I say hi? I think I said that. I go, do I say hi? Like, how do I go handshake? But he got close, and he was just like, hey, he goes, hey, well, nice to meet you, my brother. He's like a fan of the show. Like he was like, you know what I mean? And then we like dapped it up, and it happened so fast. Like, and then he just dipped out, and I'm like, and I was just by myself.
You were shook, dude.
I was shook, but I was still nervous. And then it just got, eventually I was calm. And then we went back another day. And then he just was like, dude, man, he's so chill, compassionate, and silly too. I remember I was like, I had to take a shit. So I go on to them. I go, how long before we come back? And they're like, I don't know. And I'm like, damn it. So I go take a shit. But I can hear on the radios, it feels like it's frantic. Like they might be going back. So I cut the shit in half. I go, okay, you just got to stop. Like, it's like, so now I leave the building and I'm just like walking hella awkward, but I don't think anyone, when I turn the corner, I think I'm alone and I'm like, fuck. And then Marshall is the only one out there, and he turns around and he goes, brother, what's wrong? And I should have said nothing. And I go, hey man, I shit. I went to take a shit, but I thought we were going to come back, but we didn't. So it's kind of like a half a shit. So I'm just walking like, and then he's just quiet and I'm quiet because I revealed this stuff. And then he goes, is there anything I could do to help? And then we pause and I'm like, what? And we both start laughing and he goes, nah, there's nothing. What can I do? Like,
Jesus Christ, dude. I'm uncomfortable hearing this story. I can't
know.
imagine what it was like. Jesus, Dave.
Wow.
That's crazy, dude. Well, has it improved your love life at all, being like on this
great
TV
question.
show?
Have women reached out?
I mean, do you feel more confident? Do you feel like
I feel sexier. Are you asking if I feel sexier?
Well, there's a lot of things that contribute to the question. I mean, like, do you feel more in the control of the situation? Are you? I know that you're notoriously, anxious when it comes to romance and dating. I'm wondering if this has helped you sort of like get over that. Like, what are your thoughts?
I still get rattled by DMs in a sense of like, what do I do? Like, you know what I mean? Like, how do I go? Do you want to hang out? Do I ignore it? It has given me confidence, yeah. Like but I'm still nervous. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's given me confidence in a sense of like, I feel like I have a secure job, and that kind of, you feel that confidence walking around, and I'm proud of the show. So there is that element, but I still fall back into my habits of like, oh man, like the anxiety, and I'm like, should I ask her out? Like,
right. And I imagine that anxiety can manifest itself in a new way. Now you feel like there's pressure because, you're this fucking star now, dude. And like, you're just like, I don't, when she gets to know me and your head starts sweating, I'm just picturing what your inner dialogue could be. Oh, I don't know. Oh, yeah, I don't know. Just like mumbling.
There's one time, I'll tell you this one story, and it's probably, I shouldn't, because it's like this person, it's not even that bad. This girl was a fan of the show, and we're just like, she's like, do you want to hang out? I go, yeah. And we went for like dinner. It's like 7, 8 o'clock. It's like dinner time, right? And I would think, I feel it was like a date, right? I guess I didn't really assume, but halfway through, we're eating and we're like laughing and having a good time. And she goes, yeah, my boyfriend. And I went, like, I had food, like, I go, I go, boyfriend. She goes, yeah. I go, you have a boyfriend? And she goes, yeah. I go, that's wild. She goes, how's that wild? I go, because we're sitting here. And she goes, yeah, I know. I told him. I go, you told him that you came here? She goes, yeah, I said I'm going to hang out with the guy from Rami. And then he made this joke that, I'm not going to come, like, I'm going to go out with you. And I go, why would you tell him? She goes, well, we're in on the rocks anyways. And I'm like, holy fuck. She goes, I don't understand how you didn't know I had a boyfriend. It's on my Instagram. I go, I don't check for the dude. I thought that was your brother.
I thought you were really close to your brother.
Dude, who's fucking checking Instagram going, is that? I'm like, and then she still wanted to hang out. And then I just kind of like never did. Like, I was like, I'm out. I just thought that was fucking nuts. Like, I just thought it was a crazy, then I was like, is that somebody wanting to be around people on TV, that they would do something like if I was like a construction worker or an accountant, would she be hanging out? Like it just blew my mind that she told this person. You know what I mean? Like, it's just wild.
Right.
I don't know.
Like, you were on her list of exceptions or something.
And then I go, look, I don't feel comfortable with this. And then she's like, still like, I don't get why you're being weird about it. Like, I'm the weirdo for trying.
Dude, why were you being weird about it, dude? Who gives a fuck? Just, she doesn't care. It's fine.
I know she didn't care. And look, Giulio, I've told you, like, I've done some fucked up shit. I've cheated on a girlfriend, and look, I'm not even saying that's like, I had my scumbag days, and I was ready to put the scumbag hat back on. But for some odd reason, I don't know if it's age or just that moment, I was like, no, I'm not doing this. I don't want to do this. And I wanted, for some odd reason, justice. And it was not received well at all.
Dave,
what's your
I have to say that the thought of a girl having you on her like hall pass list is very funny to me.
Also,
if I ever run into Leonardo DiCaprio, John Hamm, or Dave Merheje, all bets are off.
Dude, that's not a hall pass that I would sign off on. I'm not like that's why I was like, get home to him. That's what I'm saying.
That's funny, dude. Yeah, Dave, a guy like Dave's the most dangerous guy to have on that list because he's accessible. You know what I mean? Like he's gonna look at those DMs.
Also, there's a decent chance you could run into a guy who looks a lot like Dave Merheje and just accidentally be like, I ran into Dave Merheje and fucked him, and then only later did I found out that it wasn't him, you know? Like you're not accidentally fucking a Leonardo DiCaprio lookalike, you know?
That is fucking great, dude. Francis, what's your policy about banging people in relationships? Like when you were a single guy, if you found something out, do you have a feeling about that?
You know, it's a great question. I mean, you don't want it to happen. It's not like, you know, but I think it's also one of those things where guys are more honest about it than girls. And what I mean is like, you know, women will put out this like, we got to stick together thing, and then they'll bang dudes that are in relationships and then whatever. Whereas guys will just be like, yeah, whatever. It's not my fault. It's her fault, like whatever. And we're not pretending that there's some like bond of brotherhood. Like guy code doesn't extend so far as you can't bang some chick who's dating a guy. If you don't know him, you know what I mean?
Bro, I literally like 2 years ago, a year and a half ago, a girl that I've like been in and out with for years. She was, I told her the same thing. So I was like, look, I don't know your boyfriend. I've never seen this person, and I legitimately don't have I don't give a fuck because I don't know this guy. And I was like, even saying it, I was like, this is fucking ignorant on my part. But it was like, there's no code. Like this idea that there's like this bro code. There's a bro code between me and my homies for sure. Yes. I'm not doing that. But I mean, like a guy I've never seen, I don't know about, and you're out here and you've told me, you're like, I don't give a fuck. I'm going to do this. Why should I feel guilty not doing it? Do you know what I mean? If you're willing.
I will say this. If I'm at a bar when I'm single and I'm talking to a girl and she reveals that she has a boyfriend, I'm usually giving up at that point, right?
Yes.
Like I'm usually like, all right, well, you know, okay, now whatever. But then from that point, if she then takes the reins and starts to like show that she still wants to hook up, I'm not going to stop her. Maybe they're in an open relationship, or maybe it's like you said, they're on the rocks, or who knows? Maybe he's a piece of shit and cheats on her or whatever. And it's like, all right, you know, that's not in my hands. I will say that for me, the one thing that would prevent me from really like from doing that would be if the guy was like really good at martial arts or maybe handicapped, right? Those would be the two scenarios where like I'm either like, well, if now I'm putting my own life at risk, I don't want to break my arm over this, you know, whatever. Or two, it's like, well, my conscience is going to get in the way if, you know, if he's like a Purple Heart winner or something like that. You know what I mean? Like
100%. Dude, I think the guilt doesn't get in my way as much as I know that the next time I'm in a relationship, it fucks with my head because like that girl is sleeping with you. She has a boyfriend. He has no idea. And you're like, that guy, that poor bastard. And then one day you're in a relationship and you start thinking about shit that you shouldn't be thinking about because like you've been the guy on the other side of it. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Does that make sense?
Yeah, but the foresight to think that it's going to predispose you towards seeing that in your own life later on is very like neurotic, I would say.
Okay, fine. But the only reason is I know it from experience. So like I'll still do it, but like in an ideal scenario, I'd like to avoid it just because I know it'll make the wheels turn in a way that I don't want them to someday.
Interesting.
You know, I don't know, whatever.
I agree with you. If the girl goes, I have a boyfriend, it's like, I'm done. Like but if there's like a pursuit, like furthermore, I don't know if I've been weak and I've fallen to it. So I'm not going to sit here and be like, nah, I'm strong. I've fallen. I'm like, okay, let's do this kind of thing. But if she says it off the bat, I'm like, nah, I'm out. But like you said, if they're going to keep pursuing.
Right. And the reason is that typically I when they say they have a boyfriend, I just assume that means they're not eligible.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm like, shame on the dude who is, hears that news and is like, come on, you can look the other way, right? And like is a total slimeball about it. I don't like that. But
Yeah, totally.
if you then like put your hand on my leg and you're like, but it's February 29th or whatever. Every 4 years there's a leap year, and according to Irish Catholic tradition, I'm allowed to take it in the butt. A stranger, and you're like, didn't know about that. Didn't know about that tradition.
Dude, I have some friends that like you guys know Danny Palmer, right? This guy Danny Palmer, he's a comedian. He's a couple years older than me. He's a nice guy, but like he's so weird about he'll talk to a girl with a boyfriend the entire night, make no progress. He's clearly friend zoned, and then he'll be like, "Dude, she looked at me, dude." I'm like, "Bro, you are such a fucking like." You have no chance. He's like, she looked at me, dude. He's like, I got her Instagram. I'm like, that's not a thing. That's public information.
She just wants followers.
Yeah.
And like one at a time. So she's not doing well.
Yeah, exactly.
This is the most grassroots social media influencer that has ever lived. She's going door to door to build her Instagram account.
It's just the idea when you know Danny, you're like, and then the visual of his head comes in, like his wobble, as his head is bobbing. Just you telling that story is just funnier, knowing him. You're like, this guy legitimately spent 10 hours trying to get friend zone.
Yeah, dude. It's really crazy. He really, I don't know. I wish him the best. But Dave, so I know you have a lot of like great epic fails and like with dating stories that you've told me over the years. Yeah. I wonder if you have anything that comes to mind that is particularly funny that you might want to share with us.
There also, I want, you guys to know, not that you both would care, is that I am not out here fucking girls that are like, I don't do it all. I've done it like that one time, but like, I'm not out here doing it all. You know what I mean?
Why?
One time?
Why did I tell you, or why don't I do it all the time?
Yeah, why are you out there piping up a storm?
Yeah,
No, it's because it's like, I don't want it. I'm not like, it's still, I have some code in my head. I'm not just out here fucking girls as boyfriends. Like it was just like a one-time thing.
Dude, I'm so curious though about like, I have to think that girls who are attracted to you because of your role on the show, what sort of girls are they? I mean, it has to be like the most culturally, developed sort of like academic, very, very progressive, smart women. Yeah. And you're not getting like, you're not getting like the chicks who watch like, the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills.
Vanderpump.
You know what I mean? Like work that would be required, I think.
Well, the two girls were both in relationships that reached out, that wanted to hang out. Like one was engaged, I found out. That's the fuckery of the whole thing. How wild is that? I was like, and I didn't know until like, I didn't go out, I didn't hang with her, but then it was like, oh, I'm engaged. I'm like, what? They're like, oh, I just want to be, friends. I go, this is weird if you're messaging me on Instagram like at 11 at night. Like, I don't think your fiance would. And then I just cut it off. I was like, this is just fuckery. You know what I mean? But they are like, that's the weird part. It's like, what am I drawing here? Like, with a character like who's a devout Muslim.
Right.
What do you think? Why am I getting people that are in relationships to be like, yeah, that guy wants to fuck. Like, let me build with that guy. He's got a wife and a doctor. He's a doctor on TV. Like it is. But gee, you want epic? I guess there's one where, bro, this is very embarrassing. This is very sad. This is not. It's very, very sad.
Hey man, we're here for you, bro.
Very, very sad. So this girl, we were seeing each other. I was very attracted to her. We were fooling around. She gets up halfway through. She has to go to the bathroom, but I had come on her sheets. I was too excited.
So how did that happen though? Did it just happen? Did it happen from contact? Like what?
Happened from contact, and I kind of started talking as like I knew I was gonna come, and I started to distract the moment and cause like a scene because I knew I was gonna bust. So I was like planning it, and then she had gone, and then I was like, "Fuck! How do I clean this? I can't clean it. I'm fucked. It's like a spot, dead ass center in the bed. She's gonna come back. I'm like fucking too old for this bullshit." I was like, and so when she got back in the room, I was just I'm like in front of the bed, like. No, I'm not on the bed anymore. So she's like, well, what's wrong? And I go, I got to tell you something, right? Like, so she thought it was like, fuck, is he guy cheating? Is he breaking up? And I go, and I just couldn't get the words out. I like, and then she goes, what? I didn't finish my sentence. She goes, what's that? Like she saw it, and I go, I first went, I go, I don't know. Like I panicked. I go, I don't know. She goes, what do you mean you don't know? I go, fine. I came.
Oh my God.
She goes, you came. I didn't even know. I go, I know you didn't know. I was trying to clean it up, but you got back here quick.
What did you say to distract her as you were coming?
Dude, that's my favorite part of this, that he's some kind of ventriloquist throwing his voice, speaking out of the lamp, being like, oh, look over there. The lamp's talking.
I think I got super extra like excited. So I created this commotion of getting excited, like orgasming and like maybe covering my face. There was a lot of motion that way.
Oh, dude, that's tough, man.
Wait, that doesn't sound like you're distracting her. That sounds like you're drawing attention to it.
Yeah, probably better choice of words.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dude, all right, so you guys just got picked up for season 3. It's very exciting. It must be nice to know you have work in this crazy landscape that we're in right now. Does part of you ever think that you need to be really nice to Rami because if you're not, he'll kill your character?
No, he's made jokes that he's going to kill off my character. Where was I? Because they get me to I have like a lot of Arabic words that I don't know. Like I'm not knowledgeable of. So memorizing them for me are extremely tough. So the joke is that I was telling one of the writers, I'm like, come on, man, can you just ease up on that? And he goes, I don't know, man. You're like the most devout Muslim on the show. So yeah. So he heard me talk to my mom on the phone in Arabic, and then I get off the phone and he goes, how the fuck did you nail all those words? You can't. And then Rami was like circulating, and he goes, Rami, this guy's talking to his mom fully in Arabic, and then he's like, oh, okay. He goes, we'll cut him out, like jokes like that. So I think I hope I don't get cut out. G.
I hope you don't either, man. I'm really
I would never be nice to him, like obviously.
I know,
Just for
fucking
the
hell.
sake of, nice, but he clowns me a lot.
I mean, listen, what are you going to do? It's your boss, dude. Your friend and your boss.
Friend and boss. It's nothing like getting dissed and then it's your boss and you just got to be like, and then everyone's laughing and you just have to put your head down. You're like, I can't.
Yeah, you just got to fucking eat it, dude. Take it on the chin.
Love that.
Cool. Well, France, you got any other questions for our pal here?
No, I'm so thrilled to dive back into Rami season 2, and congrats again on season 3 being renewed. Check out Rami on Hulu. It's an unbelievable show. It's super funny, but it's super interesting too from like a cross-cultural perspective. And obviously that's Dave Merheje. He plays a fantastic character on the show. Dave, thanks for joining us, man. This was great.
I know. Look, I'm not saying this because I know G, and there's no way this is sucking up at all. It's like I watched you guys' clips. I think both of you are super hilarious individually, but also as a unit, and it's very, very funny. Like all when you're on Instagram and you'll this is rude for me saying, but like sometimes you'll see a clip and you're like, I'm not turning on the volume. Like you just scroll by it. I'm like, I always turn on the volume with you guys, and I enjoy it. I think it's funny, and I was genuinely excited. G won't believe me, or maybe he will when he texts me. He's like, "Do you want on?" I was like, "Fuck yeah!"
I love it. Thanks, man.
Yeah, so I want to say that. from the
Dude,
bottom.
thank you, man. That's very nice.
Appreciate you very much.
We appreciate it.
Dave, take us out, dude. That was great.
Yeah. So, guys, check out Dave. Where can we find you on Instagram and stuff?
Oh, just Dave Merheje. Just that's the handle.
Cool. So check him out on Instagram. Check out Rami. Make sure you guys send us, your stories and your oopses and all that stuff to oopspodcast@gmail.com or to our Instagram accounts. I'm at Not Julio, Francis at Francis CC Ellis, or at Oops the Podcast. We're going to be in the studio soon, so we're looking forward to that. And thank you guys for listening as always. If you like that video, check out our channel where we have way more videos. I just don't know how to do this. This is unbelievable. If you like that video, we have way more videos on our channel. Please like and subscribe. Turn on notifications if you want to know when there are new ones. But if not, check them out, and we appreciate it.
Oops.